My name is Pat Maher. I grew up in the Chicago area, and it is true that I'm a White Sox fan, born and bred, yes. I work as the Managing Director of Enablement, a delivery within SPR companies, an IT consulting and solutions firm in Chicago, Milwaukee, and Indianapolis. And my focus is on helping the channel to identify, prepare, and deploy professionals with disabilities into technology roles.
My name is Rob Filio. I'm the CEO of SPR Companies. I started out in the business as a programmer. Wrote code, tested code first for the programmers, and then wrote some of my own.
In the Y2K window, I worked for SPR just part-time, an evening position, screening for the recruiting team. Rob had a vision for a channel of SPR or a delivery that would focus on strengthening opportunity for qualified candidates with disabilities into technology roles, and he was very passionate about it. And I think for some evident reasons, Rob knew that I would be equally passionate about it.
Technology takes away a lot of the barriers you'd find in other lines of work. I am currently employed at the Northern Trust Company and as a help desk analyst. It was something that I could do, with my disability, just as easily as someone else. When you have a disability, you know that things are going to be a little tougher, so you're used to challenges, and when a challenge comes up, you can kind of draw on that experience to solve the problem. My name is Kevin Dever. My tie is straight, my body is crooked.
Kevin has been employed here at the Northern Trust Company for about 3 years, and he's extremely popular in our building. If you're on the phone with him, you have no idea that there's anything different from him than anybody else on the phone. Statistically, he looks exactly the same.
It's often that somebody with a disability has other abilities to make up for the deficit that they would have, apparent deficit they would have. But when it comes to the workforce, the biggest one is motivation, is the attitude. Is the difficult things that a person with a disability has to do to get to work to begin with is more than most people have to do in terms of challenge and struggle all day long.
Computers will be around forever. So you will always have a job for one. And I say every day is something new. The computer says, so you're always learning something. Your mind is always working on something new. And that's the best thing about it. You will never get bored with a computer. My name is Gregory Fielder. I have cerebral palsy. I was born with it from birth.
A lot of our associates are very, perhaps coming from a place of fear or insecurity in working with individuals with disabilities because perhaps they don't know how. They're afraid to offend. They're afraid to do anything wrong that's going to contradict the success of the team. So those are the types of barriers that we wanted to overcome. And frankly, the best way to overcome that is meeting folks like Greg.
I don't mind having it. I love my disability because it keeps me grounded. It helps me a lot. I would rather have what I have to not have a disability. Like I said, it keeps me grounded and it just makes me be me.
Technically, he met a need for us that we didn't have, and as we compared his ability to do the job with other candidates for the position, he also had an amazing attitude and a stick-to-itiveness and a general desire to succeed and be very, very valuable to the organization. And those things really stood apart from other candidates who were applying for the same position.
I'm a good people person. I love everybody. And I just love who I am.
Have you met the guy? The style, the attitude, the amazing skill set that he brought to us only enhanced what we really needed him to do here.
The information technology field, as well as other science fields and related, avail themselves very well to students who happen to have a disability and young professionals and transitional professionals with disabilities. Because the key is their cognitive capacity.
Now, if you don't know technology, you are not part of anything. My name is Monica Luna. Probably 5 years ago after a surgery, I woke up dizzy. Let's put it this way, whatever is happened, if it is like my nerve now is like an open wire, that when the blood goes through, it sparks. Therefore, whatever is making the connection is not making is making sort of a false connection. And this is the reason why one of my eyes moves, and this is creating dizziness. So if it goes higher, I get dizzier. If I get dizzier, I get confused. If I get confused, I can think. Although this disability was not part of my choice, it's there. It's teaching me that I can overcome any situation, despite of what it is.
My injury was the result of a fall. It was I'll just refer to it as a typical college person accident. It was, and overnight, my life changed dramatically. As does anyone who sustains a traumatic spinal cord injury. What the spinal cord injury took from me, and the challenges that it created, are evident. Well, some are evident, some are not so evident. Some, relate to just emotional aspects of your life, your own perception of who you are as a human being, and how you're going to move forward.
My name is Golbon Eftedari. I was born in Iran, in Tehran, and I moved to the States when I was 4.5. I felt that throughout my life, all of my whole identity was based off of what I created with my hands, and having that being taken away from me took a part of me away. My identity, just my self-identity, was shattered because I didn't know, who am I then? If I can't work with my hands, then who am I? What am I supposed to do if I can't create anymore? What will my future be? I'm here to go to school to do photography and film, and it's all based on the computer. Everything's changing.
I think I was always interested in computers. There are a lot of barriers that I have had to deal with. However, one of the biggest is dealing with other people's low expectations of me. Everyone, it seems, has or have low expectations for me. Family members, friends, even close friends, teachers, neighbors. Basically, I always had to be confident that I was able to do more than what others have thought I could do.
I used to wear braces on my legs. And as I got older, I was able to walk without the braces. When I was younger, my doctor told me I would not be able to drive. I drive my car every day. As far as my speech, I just have to take my time and just try not to rush it. Because when I rush it, you might not be understand me, but just take my time, everything will come out okay.
People who are born with a disability, they have an earlier track of dealing with it. Someone like me who at 24 started to deteriorate into a disability-like state, or I don't know how to explain it, but that to me has been very difficult because you feel like you've been robbed. I'm an artist, so my hands are my tools and I can't use them, and the doctor tells you, just don't use your hands. What does that mean? What do I do with that? What do you mean, don't use my hands?
If I had not sustained my disability, my spinal cord injury, there's no doubt in my mind I would not have been exposed to some of the exceptional opportunities in life and some of the exceptional human beings that I've met and been, and had the opportunity to work with, to know. I think you might find this from many people who incur a disability. There's no question in my mind I'm a better human being for having lived with a disability. I'm in a club, and that's the club of guys or girls who live with spinal cord injury or disease, but I'm not in every club. Disability is highly complex and diverse. Some are evident physical disabilities, others are non-evident disabilities, and each one of these comes with its own challenges or perspective challenges around being successful in the workforce, which is really what this dialogue is about.
Some of the barriers are more philosophical. One of the things that I think about when I think about Greg, and I think about colleagues like Greg who have come here and we've hired them, they happen to have disabilities. You know, some of the challenges that we overcome, as I mentioned, are based on fear. And that fear comes from the worry that they'll offend somebody and that ultimately it's going to lead to a discharge and perhaps a lawsuit or all this political correctness. Everybody that I've come into contact with that would ever be covered under the ADA has never done anything but want to do their job. Greg and his colleagues help us raise the bar even with our able-bodied individuals, because all I have to do is look at Greg, who has overcome so much and continues to come in with this amazing attitude, and I'm just having maybe a bad hair day and I don't want to come in today, and I think, are you kidding me?
Just be prepared to exceed everyone's expectations of you, even your own. Do not settle for things just because people say it would be too hard for you. Take it one step at a time.
My name is Rocky Eljuba. I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York. No one really pursued me into programming or gaming, it was all me. I really didn't know about programming till I started looking for which colleges I wanted to go to. And then I saw that I had the gaming program, and once I enrolled into that, then I found out what programming is and what it can do. And so I gave it a shot, and I actually liked it, so I stuck with it.
It's important for all students, including students with disabilities, to recognize that if their interest is in working toward success in a STEM field, like technology and information technology, that they advocate for themselves if they need specific reasonable accommodation during school, or for some students for whom it is very challenging to be their own advocate for a number of reasons, they identify an advocate, whether that's a family member, a parent, a favorite teacher, a best friend. It really doesn't matter, but in one fashion or another, a student with a disability needs to make sure that he or she is achieving the optimal and the very highest possible education they can in order to succeed in the professional field.
My name is Matt Rival. I have very much always loved numbers ever since I can remember. I'm currently employed through SPR by PepsiCo.
Matt has a different ability. I don't want to use the term disability because he has something that none of the person on our team has it.
When I was a little kid, maybe about 4 years old, I was diagnosed with ADD. And now people believe that I have Asperger's, even though I have not been officially diagnosed with it. Which is, I have a lot of trouble with social situations. Although many people with Asperger's excel in other areas, like I've always excelled strongly in mathematics.
When we hired Matt, we were looking for someone who was analytical and technical, computer technical both. And when we interviewed Matt, we knew that he had Asperger's syndrome, but we weren't focusing on that piece because all we were looking for, does he have the right skills that we want? And when we interviewed him, I asked him some math questions and some computer technical questions and some analytical questions, and he was up to the mark. Even he was beyond our expectation.
Candidates with disabilities have, whether they were born with a disability or acquired a disability during their life, very often I think there is a common trait of creativity, of managing, of learning to deal with an artifice in your life that many other candidates just don't have. I'm going on 30 years living with spinal cord injury, and each day can be an adventure. The older I get, the more the case that can be.
It's been it's a frustration state that needs to come back into a patience and a peace, just coming to a personal inner peace with, it's okay, this is my path, this is my life. Someone said to me the other day, don't measure your life by someone else's yardstick. It's okay, you know? Just having more compassion for myself, for yourself, that there's a time for everything.
People, I mean, you just gotta, you know, you gotta ride the horse you were given.
It just makes you think differently. The obstacles I've had to face, the way it has helped me with problem solving and stuff like that, it helps you think in a different way. Instead of saying like, what's the clear path or what's the best option, but you can't use it, so you have to find another way around it. It's helped me think like that, like thinking about different ways to do the same thing that still have the same effect.
People with disabilities have to be out there because we're kind of like the forerunners of what's going on. You know, like maybe 30 years from now it'll be easier because of what we're doing today and what we did, you know, 5-10 years ago, whatever. One of the things that with the disability is that overcoming those obstacles and finding different ways of accomplishing things have helped me in problem solving at the job. If I'd seen this when I was in high school, it would have made life so much easier because we had career days, but everybody was kind of without a disability. So, you know, everybody would be sitting there saying, well, that's not me. Or, you know, and we didn't really see people with disabilities in the everyday workforce. And, you know, you're kind of sitting there thinking, well, wait, what's after high school? What's after college?
Once others who work with you, supervisors, colleagues, other support systems within the workforce recognize your passion, your effort, your drive to succeed, they will reach out to you and help you. You know, that's what good people do. If I had any critical piece of advice, it would be passionate, be driven, be a life learner, and bring value. If you do those things, you'll get the support you need.